This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey, it's Christina.
Hey, it's Jenn.
Hey, it's Cate.
Real Estate Misfit Moms.
This shit was so good. Okay, today's episode is...
We're looking for the...
My friends are looking for the title of this episode.
The generational divide.
Oh, the great generational divide.
Dun, 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 dun.
We did it. Ha-ha.
Okay, Mario.
That's what it was.
Sounded like. That is totally what it sounded like.
Yeah, I have kids that are obsessed with that, so you know, you gotta.
Your
I'm
baby's gonna
Mario.
slinky out.
I know.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. He's like doing some gymnastics
You
over
want to
here.
talk
Like,
today. Give him a mic. You're the man. So it's interesting because with generational divide, you know, I feel like, number one, there's a new one every day. And then people are like, no, I'm not here. I'm really here.
yes.
But
And then they classify you as the wrong one because they're trying to be nice, and you're like, nope, I am that one, actually.
Yeah.
right.
I just have a lot of knowledge.
Well, and there's like my generation.
Yeah.
And then you have this one.
Yeah.
What is he?
Alpha.
Yeah, I can tell.
Big
Big dog on campus.
So go through them.
from top to bottom. No.
The ones we're going to talk about
The
today.
ones that we're going to talk about. There's
Yes.
one that we're not going to talk about because we don't really. I personally
No,
haven't really dealt with them.
No, I've had a couple, but not a lot.
Not a lot. So that would be the silent generation. We don't really do a lot with the silent generation. Then
What generation is that? Old?
like Great Depression old.
25 to 42.
Oh. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Those people are moving into old homes, and you're dealing with their kids, not.
Yeah. Yeah.
them.
That's what I mean. Like I don't really deal with them per se.
Yeah.
Or I deal with their probated will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
that
had
too.
a couple, but not a
I
lot.
deal with them on paper.
Yeah. Yeah. But the one that I work quite often with, I would guess, is baby boomers.
Which is,
That's anybody born in 46 to 64.
yes.
And they are like post World War II babies. Like, so there's a baby boom because after the war ended, you know, they all came
Yes.
home and had
Brown
the sexy
chicken,
time.
brown can,
Had-
brown.
that was probably the last generation that had a larger amount of children.
Yes, because children have, and people are having them later in life, and we're having less of them.
Yes.
Where that wasn't the case. So they, I would say that they are the most conservative in their budgetary needs.
Correct. They're also, when it comes to the lending side of things, private.
Yes.
But there are some that are frivolous spenders who don't know how to save their money and think that they are a child and money grows on trees.
Yeah, I haven't had that in that generation personally.
That's my dad.
Oh.
I was
You know
gonna say
what?
I haven't had that either.
Mine too. Totally my dad.
Think
Now
about
you
it.
say that?
My dad is that person. Like,
Interesting.
my stepmom is not, but my dad is. He is just like, whoa, money.
Yeah.
Yes.
My parents.
And he was
Interesting.
born in 50.
Interesting.
Yes, wow. But I've never actually lended to somebody that was that way. But you're right. My dad is the
Because
same
they
way.
can't
My mom
they
and dad
can't
are
get
the
approved for a
opposite.
loan.
Yeah.
My mom and dad are the opposite. They we're like Scots Irish, and so my mom always jokes about like how she tightens her kilt because Scottish people are known to be like very thrifty, and that's my mom. Like she does not spend a dime, and there's no like just frivolous.
And what year was she
spending.
born?
She's gonna be 70 this year.
Dang, way to throw your mom out there.
Hey, she's proud of it.
Oh, good.
She's
Good.
proud of it. She's lived a.
Okay.
She looks great for 70. Like,
right?
like, I did not expect you to just say your mom looks 70. I'm picturing her from the live show, and I'm like,
Yeah, she
No.
doesn't.
No.
My parents
I
are
want
younger
all of
than
her
yours.
aging genes.
yeah, what you have. I mean, you don't look that you're old.
Oh, I look old as hell, but that's fine. Thank you.
Okay,
Makeup is fantastic.
so I'm older than you, but my parents are younger than your parents. How old were your parents when they had you?
20. I think my mom told me she was 20. 25, maybe.
Yeah, I think I was born. My mom was 19. Maybe 19 for my brother and 21 for me, something like that. How old are your parents?
My dad is 74. I'm 34. So,
How
40.
many
I'm-
siblings do they have?
I'm the youngest of, my dad has 2 kids, and one of his kids is almost 50. I'm not close. I don't know their actual age because I don't speak to them. And then my mom's 2, the difference between my youngest brother of those 2 is 8. He's 8 years older than me. So there's a big gap. I was like the branding baby between my mom and dad at an oopsie moment, I think, in the mountains somewhere. Here I am.
How many
Mountains is
siblings
good.
does your dad have?
Siblings, like,
How many does he have? Brothers and sisters?
none. My dad was a single, only child adopted.
Oh, he's adopted.
And my mom has a bunch. My mom was the youngest of 5 or 6.
And how many does your dad have?
Tina?
My dad, siblings?
Yeah.
Did you like that too? I was like, siblings? Like, what are we talking about?
Okay,
Kids or something?
you have to name them. Okay, so John is my dad. Kathy,
I just guessed.
Vinny, and then there's 4 of them, but the 4th was adopted, the youngest.
So my mom is the oldest of 7, and I think when you come from a bigger family, and like when they were, I mean, blue collar workers, you know,
Yeah.
like industry blue collar workers. In the era where my mom grew up, like women were at home; they didn't really work.
Yeah.
Like if they worked, they like cleaned neighbor houses and stuff. Like most did not have jobs. And so I think in that regard, you also are just like you grow up not having like any money. So I think you respect your money more.
Yeah.
The money that you do make, you respect it more. And like my mom was told that like women don't go to college. Like that was the era she grew up in. Like women don't go to college, so she didn't get to go to college. And my grandfather wasn't going to pay for it because she was 18. She needed to go get a job and she needed to move out. And they lived in a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, like we call them in Pennsylvania, they're called row homes, but it's like a townhome.
And how many were there?
7.
Yeah, they did live a lot more, what's the word?
Conservatively.
Yes,
You got a lot of milk. on
Yes,
your
so there
face,
was 4 of them, and they lived in my dad and my grandparents. I guess now that I think about it, I think it was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath forever, and not until 1 or 2 of the kids left did they add the other bedroom. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
4 kids.
Yeah.
I remember at one point in my life growing up, there was this massive house. And I say massive because, like, I was a child, you know, and I thought it was the biggest house ever.
Yeah.
And the front was a house, and the back was an apartment. You went up the stairs. But, like, my grandmother lived there, all her adult children, and all their children lived there. So at one point, we all lived in this one-ass house.
Yeah.
And that was, like, normal.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
Multi-generational housing was super normal.
It was really, that's what it is. And now, like, we're starting to kind of see generational housing come back.
Especially during COVID.
Yes,
Yes.
and now, too,
No,
because
thank I'm out.
the boomers are the ones that housed everybody else. And now it's
That's
the
right.
grandkids that are housing the boomers.
Yeah.
Because if my grandma called and was like, I need a place to live, I'd be like, can you walk upstairs, Grandma? I got some stairs for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But, like,
Build a slide.
Interesting.
reverse slide.
Yeah.
Well,
Have
and
one of those like wheelchairs.
a lot of that generation also, their dad probably was
Yeah.
in war of some sort.
Yes.
And so my grandmother
They're
was more of a
personality.
single mother for
Yes.
a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's interesting because when I look at my dad and aunts and uncles, they're all very different. And you can tell, like the youngest, my Aunt Kelly, she was adopted later on in life. And who she is versus the oldest is night and day.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, my dad and his brother were the oldest. They got a completely different set of parents.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather was gone in war. And so it is interesting.
And
I
my
feel like-
dad went to war. My dad was in Vietnam.
Yeah. Vietnam.
So
Okay.
I have my dad's a Vietnam vet.
He probably went
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. Well, he was an only child. That's what you did.
Yeah, he got drafted.
He got drafted. Like, that's just what it was.
Yeah.
He
Well,
served, and now he's out.
And I feel like there was a lot, and I don't,
Obviously.
I don't know the statistics on this, but I would venture to say that there was a lot of, like, our grandparents that alcohol was pretty prevalent. And so, like, that's how they coped because there was no, like, decompression from the war. And, like, times were so rough when they came back. Like, having to adjust, having families, having kids, having to go back to work, like, all of the things. And so there was no,
leaving without a child, but, like,
coming
back to a child.
Yes. And, like, there wasn't good decompression. So I feel like there was a lot of alcoholism that happened.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of, like, kids just, like, trying to make do. And usually the older ones usually are the ones that had to then be another parent and take care of the other ones. Like, my mom tells stories about, like, cooking and cleaning and cutting hair and, like, you know, whatever my grandmother wasn't doing, my mom was doing.
Yeah.
And she was just expected. There was no, like, look, you get this reward because, you know, you did your 3 chores this week. It's like, it was just expected of you. It was expected that you get them dressed. It was expected that you helped get, like, you were just another mom or another parent, and that was expected of you.
Yes.
And so I think that was very different, and I think that made them very different. But I will say that, like, my mom and dad were so, my dad was in the military too, and both my grandfathers were, and I think you're very frugal with your money. Like, most of the baby boomers I deal with are so frugal with their money. They're so financially set. They know exactly what they're doing with their money. And I mean, it is like an act of Congress to get them to bring you a bank statement. Like, they're like, well, I can just tell her what's in my bank account. I'm like, but you have to give it to her.
Or that same generation that is like, oh, you can't email me anything. I don't want to sign anything electronically.
Yes.
So then you have to take that and shift your entire work around because you have this client. I just had one. Loved him to death. I had to literally print everything, inspection reports, title commitments. Everything had to be a hard copy paper for him. He does not do email. Do I know that he has email? Yes. Will he accept emails? No. He paid cash for his house. I had to get, the letter from his banker. He brought me a paper letter, and I was like, thank you. Appreciate that. He's like, look at my Facebook. I'm like, oh, you're on Facebook, but you won't use your email?
Right.
Okay,
well,
whatever.
And that's even harder on a lender because the truth of it is honest, and we've talked about this before, like, I don't even see people until closing. So, and a lot of things, that was funny. You have to sign an intent to proceed before I can even do anything.
Yeah.
Well, and that's normally an electronic thing. And so every once in a blue moon, someone's like, well, I don't do electronic. Like, literally printing all of that out is a beating.
I pay for prints, like, at my brokerage, like, because everything, we're trying to go paperless, and so we pay for prints, and my office bill for that 30 days I had
was intense, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because
you were like,
he wanted,
there's
like,
my commission check, just keep it.
He wanted, like, what an inspection report would look like, so I had to do the inspection sample packet.
Oh.
I had to print out, then the inspection on the home, which that was, like, super long, because it was over 3,000 square foot home, and I was like, you don't want, like, an electronic copy of any of this? Nope. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Still to this day, I don't have a clue what that man's email address is. I have sold a house for him, and he has bought a home through me, and I still don't have an email for him.
That's true, though.
But he keeps coming back to me, and
he
wasn't a referral. Like, he found me online.
That makes you think it's selective.
Yeah, it's selective for sure. And I often find that one, like, either the wife or the husband is, like, if they're if it's a married boomer, one of them has come around the horn to like figure out email, and the other one is just like absolutely not.
Yeah, mine was a single man.
Yeah, and he is like
hard. He's it's a halfer. I'm for sure.
Yeah,
but whatever. Maybe he just wanted someone to talk to.
Yeah, and
totally.
I mean, and I get it. They get lonely. Yeah. So
who's next?
X.
Generation X.
So they were born 65 to 80. Is that what you show? It's interesting because it depends on where you look. Depends on who you ask on what's
Look
what.
at my notes.
So I was born in 80.
So you're an X? Are you an Xer and what's the one after Xer?
So when I look at
X
what it
is
says,
Y, which is 81 to 96,
Oh, so I'm a Y?
so what are
which is a millennial.
Oh.
They just separated us into Y and then Z. Yeah.
That's what comes after
stereotype of Generation X?
Truth. Fuck you.
Woo!
Adolescents and young adults in the 80s and 90s, they were dubbed the MTV generation.
MTV?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's when MTV started.
That's when MTV was music.
Music
Yeah,
videos.
music videos.
Yes.
Gosh, that was
Nothing.
so fun.
Do you remember-
TRL.
When you
Yeah.
would come home and you'd want to make TRL.
See,
Yeah.
and that is when I was older.
And TRL
Yeah.
Spring Break. I
Yeah.
would sit in front
I
of my
was much
TV over
older.
Spring Break,
Yeah.
watching them out there on the beaches of South.
See,
Where were they?
that's not
South
my
Padre
MTV.
Island, Key West. I thought those were the coolest places in the world.
So many people didn't now. If you say MTV, they don't even know that it stands for music television.
Yeah.
Most
So-
people don't even know that TV stands for
Right.
television.
Because TRL, that wasn't my MTV.
Yeah.
My MTV was literally music video after music video after
Yeah.
music video. Because then, when I was, I guess probably in high school-ish, is when the TRL and the
Real World.
Real World.
Oh.
The first one with the guy that picked his nose all the time. Yes. Ugh, that was so bad.
I love that you remember that.
Yes. So I'm on the edge of those two. What is it?
You're cusp, baby.
Boomer and
No, you're not.
millennial.
No, you're not a boomer.
You're
an
definitely
X.
not a boomer.
Sorry, X
You're-
and millennial.
Yeah, you're definitely not a boomer.
Definitely not.
No, but I also that generation. To me, is also just very free. They're very I don't want to say flower child because they're not that, but they're just more go with the flow.
I feel like that generation has a lot of kids also, though.
Yeah, but I feel
Not as many as boomers,
what it
but I
reminds
feel
me
like they
of?
have a lot. If you look about, think about all your friends, Christina. And I say this because you're older than I am.
Yeah,
Think
so-
about your friends and when they started having kids and think about how many kids they have. There's a lot of them.
I don't have any friends that have a lot of kids. Now, most people my age had children a lot long before I did.
Yeah, they had them early,
Yes.
teen mom age.
Yes.
They were
Yes.
teen moms, which was weird too. Cause
Yes.
that was,
It makes me think of movies where kids were in packs.
Yeah.
You ran around with your little pack of kids.
like the Goonies,
Goonies and what's the one about
Sandlot.
Sandlot, but I'm
yes.
thinking about the one. It was all girls in it, and it was then.
Then and now.
Is it
Where
Then and Now?
they're young.
And Rosie
then,
O'Donnell.
Yes.
Was in it? Yes. Okay. Yes. That.
Never heard of it.
Now
Yes.
and now and then.
Now and then. There we go.
Yes. Now and then. That's a good one.
Never heard of it.
What?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But it's all about kids running in their packs. And there weren't really any, there were parents, but there weren't parents. Parents were working and then socializing. And
What did you do growing up?
The kids all
after school?
played after school and just
Well, I mean, I definitely did not have a model childhood by any means. We were the latchkey kids too. So I remember being in 5th grade, walking home.
With your backpack on in the snow, 14
Well, I lived in
feet of
Texas, so
snow.
we definitely didn't have snow.
through the desert.
With no
Over the river.
water.
Yes.
7 pounds of books
had
in
to
my
avoid
backpack.
all of the rattlesnakes.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the stories our parents tell us too. But
Yes.
it's still funny.
It is funny.
Is that you?
I remember one time when our school had changed. This was 5th grade. The school, when I go to the town now and I drive around, the school was literally 4 or 5 miles from the house, and I had to cross 2 busy highways. Killed
No.
it. Bicycled it the whole way, and it was normal to me.
I rode my bike to school and walked to school, and it was
Yes.
if you were I'm trying to think about if you were at on Bob Johnson, what school is that? China Spring.
China
what?
Spring Elementary.
Okay.
Oh, it changed now, but it was the elementary.
Not
I think
Bob
it's still-
Johnson, the other one.
Oh.
Yeah, what's off Yankee or whatever.
The middle.
Yeah, I think it's the middle. So that school,
By
and
the
then you have
airport?
that neighborhood, right there by the airport. What's
Yes.
that school?
Yeah,
Okay.
That airport, that's where my kid is now. That's intermediate.
Okay, so there, And then think about like Lakeland Meadows.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that's how far I used to live from my school. And I
Yeah.
just used to like
Yeah.
walk home by
Oh, yeah.
myself.
Totally.
But I'm not
I
I'm not an
major road with no crossing guard.
yeah, I'm not a what
We
an
just-
X,
we
a
waited-
Y.
Yeah.
We waited for the little man to show up on the thing. You'd press the button and we'd all wait. There'd be a bunch of us at the corner. There was no crossing guard. There was no stop, please. No, we waited for the red light and then you went halfway because you knew the light was going to turn green and you stood in the median and then you kept going.
See, and okay, that's crazy to me because like I was an adult before I even saw those little push the button thingies.
Oh, they taught it to us. They literally at school.
But I didn't live in a big city.
When we would leave school, there was 2 walker lines. One went out the back of the school and one went out the front of the school. I went out the front of the school. The teachers would walk you to the edge of the property and then you're on your own. And kids just dispersed.
Yeah.
And it was all major roads around us. Like,
Crazy. Well, and my childhood was definitely not one that anybody should mirror because it wasn't fun. But 5th grade, I would come home and I had 3 younger siblings that were small, and sometimes like you didn't see a parent for 24 hours. You just didn't. And that, I mean, it was just.
but I don't think that was abnormal for your generation.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
and
when you think about the movies, their parents are never in those. And I know that it's like they're supposed to be made for people that age, but like that was the era. Like parents were working, they were just not home.
yes.
They weren't. There wasn't like a role model there.
We did, but like I remember, so I lived in Coppers Cove at that time, so it's right on the edge of Fort Hood, which is Fort Cavazos now. We talked about that yesterday. But we would get on our bikes on a Saturday morning, like early, and like go up into the Fort Hood and be gone all day.
Yeah.
And no phones.
Now
Nothing.
Yeah, and
But you knew how to use a payphone.
Yes.
Yes.
You had quarters in your pocket or
Hell
nothing?
no.
Okay.
No. Like if we died, somebody would find us. I don't know. It just never crossed our mind.
No, well, that was me.
I
growing up,
think
but,
about
like,
that, too,
I don't
like-
even let my kid go play in the front yard without me sitting out front.
Right.
I won't let my
Isn't
kid.
it crazy how it's changed?
Well, I let my kid the other day ride her bike up around. So like in our neighborhood, you know, you come in and there's a roundabout and you go the roundabout. I'm the second exit off the roundabout, and then my street, right?
Right.
They call the roundabout the circle. She's like, "Can we go ride our bike around the circle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care, whatever." So I was like, "Go outside. You had been sick for a while. Go outside. I'm tired of you being in." And then she was gone for like a really long time, and I was like, "Did she take her phone?" I look over, it's on the counter. I was like, "Nope." Okay. I'm like, have you seen her on the cameras out front yet?
That's funny.
He's like, yep, there she is at the end of the driveway. I don't even know that she ever left. As I'm like, can you just look at the camera? Not going to get my fat ass up off the couch to go see. I'm just going to be like, anybody seen her?
It's so different.
And people will text me like, my kid over there? Nope. That was all I heard. Literally, a mom texted me this weekend. Is my kid there? I was like,
Gosh.
Never heard from that mom again. Don't have a clue where her kid was.
Good. Hopefully it.
I know
all
she
worked
found her
out.
because I saw her at school, but hey.
Yeah, it's just different. And
It
then-
is different.
So then there's Gen Y, which is the first of one of part 2 of millennials, because we were all lumped together.
And see, and I feel like I can
Millennials was
understand some of the millennials.
Millennials was like a big swing. And so Jen and I are millennials, but we're the earlier millennials because we remember things that
What year were
Later.
you born?
87.
Oh, yeah, and I'm 89.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like we remember things that like that the later millennials
When is your birthday?
don't.
Like, what?
You're so cute.
I was there with you. I got you.
She tried the other day too. And she's like,
That's
She
hilarious.
goes, I'd buy you flowers for your birthday, but I don't know when it is. Can you tell me when it is? And I was like,
Flowers die.
Flowers die.
I was like, but cookies don't.
Did you see? We're totally digressing here, but did you see where I did the Google Calendar?
No, what'd you do?
Did you see it?
No.
So I made us a Google Calendar so we can keep up with stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I have
Okay. So, and I need to look, but like the whole month of like June and July, I put Kate's birthday.
Well, I have narrowed it down. It's June.
It's June. We've narrowed it down, but so I put it the whole thing anyway.
that could be a whole podcast.
That could be a whole
guys.
podcast, but anyway,
I
it's
mean,
funny.
the way people obsess over wanting to know my birthday is like hilarious.
I think
to
you
me.
make it that way. Well, you hurt my feelings when I learned that there is somebody that does in fact know it, and 2 people that love you dearly in this room don't.
My husband knows it.
Well, that's good.
Because my thing is like, this is what I don't get about, I know we're totally digressing. This is my thing about birthdays. I will celebrate your birthday however you want me to celebrate. You want to eat 4,000 cookies? Here I am with 4,000 cookies. That's great.
Toilet
That's
in your
how
yard.
you want to celebrate your birthday. I want to give it to you in the love language that you want. If you want to celebrate it all month long, here we go. Balloons every day, friend. Toilet in the yard. I got you.
But who said I wanted a fucking toilet in my yard?
Nobody. We just made a big deal
but
and made it
flushing
funny.
another year down the toilet was pretty fucking
It was
funny.
pretty funny.
Yes.
And it was a prison toilet for everybody.
We've got
just so
to
everybody knows.
get to work on what we're going to come up with this year.
But for me, I have no desire to celebrate my birthday, to be wished happy birthday. I just don't. It actually offends me when I get 4,055, 772 calls, text messages, whatever. It bothers me because I feel like it's disrespectful. I'm respecting your wishes. You are not respecting mine.
Got it.
It's interesting.
And I would rather die in a hole on the day that I was born so people stop bringing it up.
Okay, I won't bring it up anymore. I'm done.
It bothers me
Yeah.
to my core.
I know people that don't like it, but I've never heard
And it is not, and everyone's like, well, it's just your age. No, I have not celebrated my birthday since I was 8 years old. 8 years old. My mom begged me to have like a 13th birthday. She begged me to
Is
have
she
a 21st.
good now with it?
No.
She still hates it?
She still hates that I do not want to celebrate it at all. She has gotten a lot better over the years.
Yeah.
And she'll just call and she'll just say happy birthday. But it's my mom and I'm not going to like bitch her out for
Right.
it. You know?
You know, that's another thing to think about when it comes to generational stuff. Where were your birthday parties? We had them at McDonald's.
Oh.
Did you have them at McDonald's?
I went to McDonald's birthday parties.
I didn't
Chuck E.
have birthday
Cheese.
parties.
I didn't have them, but I went when I would go to some.
I
Yeah.
celebrate my birthday now, I think, because I didn't have birthday parties.
Well, and we never, and maybe that makes sense
like,
too.
I literally cannot tell you a birthday party I had. I remember that I got a boombox with a Spice Girls. No. I don't know.
I do remember the
No,
boombox with the
Aqua.
Spice
I got
Girls on it.
Aqua.
It had
I got the
stickers on it.
boombox
It was
with
purple.
Aqua Barbie Girl CD for my birthday
yes.
one year.
What's the difference
that
in
was
our
just it.
ages? Are we 10 years?
I'm 34.
How old am I? What year is it? I'll be 44.
So, yeah, we're 10.
So we're 10 years. So are we? We're not full 10.
No.
Okay.
She's 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
Okay. So back up and tell me this. Who was your band? Like when you were, like the first band you remember loving?
NSYNC.
Okay, mine was New Kids.
Well,
about
NSYNC and
you?
Hanson. I loved Hanson.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hanson. Yeah, probably Hanson, like Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
She
I
was
loved it.
clearly an NSYNCer.
Yeah. 9.
There was a divide, wasn't there?
Yeah, there really
There's
was.
still a divide.
There still
Really?
is.
That's-
Yeah.
that's interesting to me.
Backstreet's back. All right. Ba, ba, ba.
See, and we were New Kids.
I don't, and I've never listened to that.
Yeah, we were New Kids. Now I look back and I go, yeah.
So you wouldn't go see them in concert?
Oh, I would totally go see them in concert just to have fun. Like a bunch of my girlfriends and I one time went to a 90s concert. I don't know if you've seen them. They went around for years.
Yes.
And we all dressed up like we were in the 90s. And it was like hip hop and oh my God, it was
That
so
would be
Okay, but
fun.
did you see
Vanilla Ice?
when Vanilla Ice
Yes.
came to the backyard?
Yes.
Okay, but all the moms that like we're
Yes.
friends with on social media, like on stage, like
Yes.
like old moms on stage,
Yes,
like
that's
sweating and dancing, and they're like doing their stories, and I'm like, maybe you should put your phones down and get off the stage. You're embarrassing everybody.
I guess that would
knows
be
you.
the first like pop whatever because I grew up listening to like classic rock and oldies. So,
See, and
like,
I did too.
But I did.
So, like,
oh,
My
that-
parents.
yeah,
It
like
was my
Aerosmith,
parents. Yeah,
Pink
it was-
Floyd.
Yeah, it was my parents, like Phil Collins. My dad loved him some Phil Collins.
I did too.
So like you know, in the middle of the night.
Take it away, girl.
It's
I
it's
couldn't even
true.
keep going for you because I don't know where that's going.
Oh, it's so good. If you don't know, you don't know. But so like that's what I listened to for like the longest time, and I probably didn't listen to my own music. I guess till like I was like in like 7th or 8th grade.
I remember learning all the words to Dangerous Minds,
Yeah,
probably when I shouldn't, because
I knew Bohemian Rhapsody.
yeah, like
by heart.
I was like in 6th or 7th grade, 4th, 5th or 6th grade. I learned
Yeah.
Dangerous Minds. Still could rap the whole thing for you. I thought I was the coolest person around. Learned that that's really not a good song to know.
Yeah,
We didn't know we were singing.
Nobody
we would sing
does.
Bohemian
I let Jenny listen
Rhapsody.
to shit too.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all had our separate parts of that song in the car because we always would drive to Philly to see my family. And so it's a 3-hour drive. And so we didn't have any technology to amuse us. So my dad was like a very serious, like, it's like you pee before you go. We are not stopping. Unless my parents had to stop, we are not stopping. We are driving 3 hours. Hold it. Don't care. Don't bring it up.
And we did that too.
No, do not say a word. Like, my dad is focused on the road. You don't speak.
And we talked.
And so the only way, when we got fussy, my mom would like put on music, and so we sang Bohemian Rhapsody in like our shifts, and my dad would pipe in every once in a while, and it was fantastic.
So, do you know what that just reminded me of? Step Brothers, the movie.
Totally.
When the parents and the
Yes.
brother and the wife and their kids are singing.
Yes, it is.
We are
true.
singers
That is
today.
literally all that I can picture in my head right now is you
Yes.
and your family singing that song.
Oh, totally, and like rocking out to it.
So
Rocking out to
by
it.
your age, your birth year, are you a millennial, both of you?
Yeah, we're both millennials, part 1.
Okay. So
we remember.
We also
what did we talk about? Tape
yeah,
decks,
no one in the
technology,
second part
rotary
of,
phones.
The second part of the millennials is never going to understand the relationship between a tape and like a pencil.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, and I get that.
See, but you're older, but like, so you do, but like, there are
Yeah.
younger millennials
That are like, what is
they're
that?
They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like,
Okay.
it's a very specific. Do you remember the
Interesting.
sound that it would make when
Yes,
it would?
you knew.
It was like, and you were just like, no.
Did you listen to the radio in hopes for your song to come on and
Yes.
push the 2 buttons?
Yes.
See, and that's interesting because
Or record your once you got phones, record your voicemail off of a song.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Did you call in and request songs?
Yes. Yep.
And
I
listen
got
to
on
it
the
for
radio
4.5
once.
hours?
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah. I got on the radio once. I was like really excited.
I just want to put this out to so-and-so. I love you.
Yeah.
What nerds.
Oh, and we
Three-way
thought it was, like,
calling.
Funny.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that was,
Or when we had to hold
I
our
was
phones,
older.
like, give me your phone. Where we had to hold our phones like this, so like we could hear. So
Yes.
you could hear one person and
Yeah.
they could talk to the other person.
Yeah.
And that's how we like when like Joe broke up with Anne, and you were
Yes.
like, you're like, why did you do that? So she could listen to the whole conversation.
nerds.
And the phones that are attached to the wall, and you have to
Yes.
like wander through your house.
The
Cords
whole
were
the
so
whole
long.
house.
Yeah.
The cords were so long.
Or when AOL came and you couldn't be on the phone and the internet at the same
Mom,
time.
get off the phone. I'm on AIM.
See, and
The door.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was quite a bit. I was probably an adult when AOL was a thing.
Oh, you're away
like right
status.
on the kiss. Right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Kiss.
Zanga.
What's that?
You don't know what Zanga is? Zanga is like a forum. It was the forum before MySpace, so it was Zanga,
Oh, I
MySpace.
didn't do Zanga.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
You had to like write it. It was like almost like HTML, but not.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't.
I was a
I didn't do
computer nerd.
MySpace either.
Oh, okay.
So
Well.
common characteristics of millennials. This made me laugh. They love avocado toast.
I do
I
love
love
avocado
avocado
toast.
It made me laugh. Okay, what about they value experiences over things?
That's
Yeah.
accurate for me. 100%.
Very
I
accurate.
want to make memories. Don't give me shit.
Millennials crave personalized service. What's that mean?
I would say customer service is big to us. Like that, we will bitch loud on social media if you do not treat us well.
But I'm also very responsive to people, like customer service people. Like every time
Yes.
somebody brings something to my table, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
I don't ignore you.
Thank you
so
You're not-
much.
You're not a peon.
I
Like,
will tell you thank you
you.
700 times
Yes.
if you come to my table. 700 times. You ask me if we're good. We're great. Thank you.
If the manager comes, and I will 100% tell them like, your waiter is fantastic. Or if I get
Yeah.
something that's chef's choice, I will definitely be like, please send a note back to the chef to let them know that this was an outstanding meal.
Yeah, like I am a praiser of
Yes.
the service world.
Yes.
I didn't really work in the service world much,
neither.
but like I am a praiser of those people.
Even when I'm mad, I apologize for being mad, and I tell them like, I'm trying to control my tone right now, and I'm really sorry, but I'm just super mad, and I'm like, I recognize this is not your fault, but you're getting all my anger.
Which
Yes.
in the flip of that, I'm that way to people in person, but if somebody on customer service phone is being a jackwagon, I
Yes.
am like, motherfucker, listen here. like
I'm
I
gonna
don't
tell you
give
like it
two
That's hilarious.
but like
I'll flip on a dime.
face to face, I'm like, it's fine. I'll just keep my food. It's gross. Like it's no big deal.
Oh no,
Thanks.
I'm the same in face or over the phone. But like,
Nope.
if you're gonna be
Oh, I'm
will
a dick
mir-
all the
I will
time on the
mirror-
phone. I'm so sorry.
I will mirror whatever attitude you're giving me. If
I
you
do
are a
that.
dick to
On the
me,
phone, yes.
I'm a dick to you. No, I'll do it in person. I don't give a shit.
I
Respect is
try.
earned,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I try really hard in person, but like that goes back to like I try to just be super nice. So hopefully they're super nice to me. But if you're not kind to me, I'm not gonna be like, thank you. I'm gonna be like, okay.
So do you
All right,
feel
that's
like
good.
I feel like the millennial thing? So I can understand some of the millennial things because I'm right there on the line of it. But I feel like she was saying like there's an earlier and a later millennials. So do you feel like you only relate to the millennial stuff?
No, but I feel like the younger millennials, the ones that are like the next generation where they split us up, I have a hard time connecting with them.
They give us a bad rap because they're
They're
considering
entitled.
like they're entitled, they're lazy, they don't want to work,
Yes.
they live in their mom's
They don't-
basements, they live off their parents'
They all want to
college
be
funds.
entrepreneurs. Like they're all gonna invent the next best
They're
thing.
influencers,
They're
but that's also what that alpha or Gen
Yes.
Z is alpha, or Gen Z and alpha are all those like influencers, but
Yes.
millennials are trying to be that because they went to college and can't do
Yes.
anything with the
degree that they have
that they
and-
got that their parents paid for and they partied their way through college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Now
like
they
I
live at
don't-
home with their parents.
I do not understand the silver spoon kid. Like I was never a silver spoon kid. I didn't have friends that were silver spoon kids. Like we all like it was exciting to turn 16 because you could get a job.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
in my like when I grew up and I had friends, like it was like that was a cool thing to do. Now it's like teenagers are like a job.
Yes,
Like why
I would
would I
agree.
go
Yeah.
get a job?
Yep.
And so like I have a really hard there's like no work ethic and I really struggle with that. So
And then the work they want to do, like say they want to mow your yards because that's what boys
wanna
did.
yeah.
They want like $80. And I'm like, bro, you can barely push that shit. I can push it faster than you.
well and they're
What are we doing?
I'm like my brother mowed lawns for like $10-15.
Yes.
Right.
And mowed like multiple lawns. It wasn't like $80 and then I'm gonna go burn that shit at, fucking Main Event or whatever.
Right.
Like
Yep.
like kept that in a piggy bank and like every Friday would be like counting the bills and be like how many more bills can I make, Like
Yes.
there's none of that. There's just none of that. And I
Yes.
have a really hard time. So I will tell you that I will skip that generation when it comes to working with them because I can't I have a really hard
and they're not
time
even in a
working with
position
them.
where they like can purchase a home
No,
because
most of the time,
they
mom or dad are co-signing. Mom and dad are buying it for them.
they have no credit.
They have no credit.
Or it's maxed out because
Yes.
they were me when I was 18. I had no guidance in life and got all the credit cards that came into you in the mail when you
Right.
turn 18 and Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works and all these because I
Yep.
wanted all the underwears and all the things. And now I'm like, that sucks.
yeah.
I got a lot of credit cards out there. And then you got to close them, which hurts you. But,
Yep.
like, you don't
Yeah.
want to keep them because they're garbage.
Yeah. And so I feel like that second part of the millennials, I have a really hard time when they come to me. Usually it's first time home buyer and they're like, I may rent. And they also are the ones that are like, I want a pool, 3,000 square feet, probably a 4-2 with an office, and I want it completely farmhouse style, and it needs to be move-in ready, manicured lawn, and I'd really like it to be in this neighborhood on a half-acre lot. My budget's $200,000.
Right. That is also
And you're-
true.
And-
You are smoking crack.
I'm like, hi, let me give you a reference. Her name is Jenn Shelburne.
Scare the crap out of the babe.
You know what? And I do work with them, but it's because I all right, realistically, that doesn't exist. So here is a look at what is available for you in your budget. And you're on champagne budget with a Bush Light
Bush light.
Yeah.
bill.
You got
Like-
some natty.
Yeah.
But that's where they're at. They I'm gonna live the high life, and they can't afford the high life. They can
Yes.
afford Miller High Life, but not the high life.
I do feel like no matter what generation you're from, it has a lot to do with how you're raised. And I
Yes.
know, and I hate,
Yeah.
as a parent, I hate
Nurture
when people
over
say
nature.
that. But the truth, it is the truth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I try. My kids are 9 and 7, and both my children have phones. But we live a very busy lifestyle, and so with that, they have to earn their phones. Like my daughter does the dishes every day. She has to unload the dishwasher every day after school before she gets her phone. There are days she doesn't have to because we ate out. There's no dishes, whatever. So she has to do a different chore. Like today after school, she has to put all of her folding clothes away. I was like, you're old enough. My son is only at our house sometimes. He has to bring the trash cans up every time. And then when I bring the cans up for him, I make him split the dishwasher with Jillian because he's got to earn his phone. He's still there. So on the weekends, he has to do random chores. Like I will just find something random and be like, hey, bud, you need to go do that. You know, and then he bought this game on his phone and said he didn't know he did it. And I didn't realize it until I looked at my bill, and it was $10 or something a week. A week for this app.
What the heck is that?
And it was on there for 7 weeks.
Holy smokes.
And so he had to pay me back. And so every time he got money from selling a football card, I'd be like, you still owe me money. So he would track it. And the other day, he was like, I got $60. I was like, yeah, you still owe me money. He was like, no, I don't. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you still do owe me money, but I'll let you keep it this time. But I make that kid pay me back. I have a hair, sorry. Have you seen me? Like, I just keep touching my nose. I make him pay me back. And Jillian's the same way. Like, we make them buy things. Like, we go to Target or whatever. I love Target. I'm a fiend for it. I go and I spend money all the time. I'm going when we leave here today. And I just buy useless shit. Well, my kids do the same thing. Well, now I started putting budgets on them.
You have to.
I saw this.
And it's because I want them to be good people, responsible. That's the word.
There's this mom and this dad. They're not together. It's two separate TikTokers. But there's this mom that I have got to figure out how to do this, but on a different, like, for what fits my family. But I think she's genius. So every month at the beginning of the month, the kids balance their checkbook. And they have money. They get allowance. We don't do allowance in my family, so, like, that's why I would have to change it. But they pay rent. And it's not like...
It's like $1, right?
Yeah, it's like $1 or $5 or something. And they pay their portion of utilities. And so they have like a budget, and they have to pay their mom all of that money every month. And then if they want any extras, they have like how much they're going to be putting in savings and how much they're going to be doing whatever. Right. And it teaches kids to respect the dollar. Yeah. Because kids have like...
No concept of money.
No concept of money. Like, James is just like, well, can't you just buy it? Like,
Jillian says that too. She's like, you got money? I'm like, where?
Yeah. And he's like, James's big thing is he really wants to live on land. We live in a neighborhood. He wants to live on land. And he's like, well, can't you just go buy it? Like, isn't that what you do for work? And I'm like, look, asshole.
Right.
Like, I do, but I can't afford it because, the market is shit right now.
Yeah. Hey, interest rates are high. Do you know what that means? You got 7%.
Right.
So I want them to understand the value of $1 because I know when I grew up, I understood the value of $1. Like when I went on to field trips, my mom would give me a $5 bill, and that was supposed to pay for my disposable camera and any toy I wanted from the museum toy store. Like that's what we got. And so now if I give James $5, he's like, what do I do with it? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it's because, in our world, like, what do you buy for $5 now?
Nothing.
We send money with the kids to the book fair, and I'm like, okay, buy something and then, bring the money back. I'm like, what'd you spent it all? Well, yeah. What else was I supposed to do with it?
Yes.
Bring it the fuck home, like I said.
Yeah. Like,
they think if you gave them 20,
they can spend all of it. Yeah.
Like,
and maybe borrowing $1 or $2 from Susie because they didn't think about the tax.
My daughter loves to buy things for other people. She'll be like, well,
kind heart.
But he did not get anything. His mom didn't send him any money, so I wanted to buy him a book. I'm like, we can't buy books for everyone. I love you, but
I love your heart.
Or what about when they go to the book fair and they come home with pens that spin and make colors
and posters?
Yeah,
posters of cats and dogs and unicorns.
Of those like little erasers that like I could buy you a value pack of 4,000 on Amazon for like $1, but you spent $20 on one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I hate that shit.
I hate the book fair,
and I think that I am heavily trying to teach my kids about money now is because and like how to like use it because when my mom died, we got a bunch of money. Because it was an accident. And I was 18 and all the money was given to me. And when I say all the money, I mean like...
That's scary.
like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what to do with it. Nobody taught me what to do with it. Like it went into a savings account. So I had a small checking account, a big checking account, and a savings account. My small account was where my work check went. My big account is where I moved money from savings into that account to use that money.
Oh my gosh.
I bought my boyfriend a car. I bought myself a car. I put myself through hair school. And I have nothing to show for it now. You know, and I'm like, I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, my kids need to, like, learn that, like, there are things to do with your money because I was so, like, money, let me buy it all. I had all the nice things. I bought all my friends' stuff. I paid for everything everywhere we went.
Yeah.
Until there was nothing.
And now do you think as an adult, man, that would be like, I could do something with that today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean,
In 2020, I could have bought a flip house.
Yeah.
Like, legit, could have bought a flip house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and Will and I have just talked about this. Like, you know, and you talked about, like, you know, it's how you were raised, right? So, like, we were raised, like, a little differently. Both of our parents have tons of respect for money and how you invest it. It was just, we grew up differently with money. And so Will in his head is, we shouldn't be in any debt. Like, we're in our mid-30s. We shouldn't have any debt. And I'm like, inflation is at an all-time high. Like, I can't get out of the grocery store for, like, less than $300, and I'm buying, like, fruit and vegetables.
And healthy food is so much more expensive than the
It
junk-ass food.
Yeah, and I'm like, but, you know, I also have to buy the junk-ass food because they need snacks.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
Right.
and so I'm like, so it's just, you know, there's that, and it's just, it's a hard conversation to have because I'm like, well, if you want to go to the beach this summer, we're going to have to put things on credit cards because, like,
yes, 100%. Yeah,
it
for sure.
sounds ridiculous, but, like, to run our household, like, on a regular basis between, like, mortgage, utilities, you know, like, and, like, groceries, it's like $5,000 a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have to also look at it in the perspective of, like, our realm, the three of us, like, we don't have a paycheck that comes in every Friday.
No.
Right.
So, like, I know that we're all in the same boat of, like, we're waiting on the next paycheck to come in to turn around to pay a bunch of bills off because you got to pay your mortgage somehow. And guess what? If you don't have your spouse, which luckily all three of us do have a spouse that has a job, like a normal 9 to 5 W-2
right.
gets a paycheck every other week. But I had that at one point where we didn't.
Yeah, that's scary to me.
And so
That's
that was
crap
when
out
the
of me.
market went like this. Whee!
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's use this credit card to pay our mortgage because I don't want to lose our house. We had money in savings, but I was like, I don't want to deplete that. Like, what if something happens?
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to use my credit card to pay my mortgage, you know? And I look at, like, what our mortgage is, plus our car payments for both of our vehicles and our utilities. I'm at, like, 2, 4, 6. I'm probably at, like, 7 a month in household bills, which is insane because my car payment and my husband's truck payment are stupid expensive.
Yeah.
I like luxury though, so I can't. That's on me. I
Yeah.
could trade it and go get a lesser car payment, but I don't want a different car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because, like,
I think it's because I grew up poor.
yeah,
I want
see,
the goods
I
because I
hear
grew
that
up
a
poor.
lot. I
My
hear that a
husband
lot.
is that way.
And Jared grew up poor too. So like we were both dirt poor. We were raised in trailers, like whatever. Like, and so we never really had any money, and I didn't have money until my mom died, and then like I struggled for a long time. I got in debt, got married, got divorced, like still didn't have money during that period, and now here I am, and I
Right.
became successful, and I'm happy
Yes.
in my success. So I'm
Yes.
like, I'm gonna splurge because I want to feel good. It makes me feel good to get in my nice shiny car every day.
And see, in my house was built in the late 70s. My car is a 2017. I hate it. I think it's the ugliest thing that ever walked. I think it's so ugly.
It's like a box on wheels. Why would it be ugly?
But I will drive it until somebody forces me out of it because I'm a cheap ass.
Yes, you are.
I will.
I know you buy
update-
everything on clearance at
Yes.
DT, and I love it.
Yes,
Or DG.
I hate DG, but there is. I'm the kind of person like I will hoard money. Now my husband isn't. I grew up middle-ish class, but I also didn't like I wasn't given an allowance. I had a job at 15. I've worked every day since then. You know, like I will fix up my house. I will redo it. I will make it. It's nice on the inside, but I have no desire to buy a new house in a new subdivision. Like No.
Yeah. So mine is a
No.
little different. Like, I never grew up wanting. Like, I know looking back, my parents struggled hard.
Yes.
Hard. But my parents never let us feel that as kids. So I never, like, wanted. But I will say the things that I change about how I raise my kids is I will splurge on my kids. And I know that, like, you know, at some point it is spoiling them. But I didn't get to go do the fun things.
I'm
like,
about doing the things.
yeah, like I didn't, like I lived in DC, so like the museums and stuff are free, but like Subway's not, and like taking the metro's not, and so
And you
like,
took those like as when you were younger or older?
yeah, like when I was younger, my parents didn't take us anywhere because they didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Like our vacations were going to go see our uncles and aunts in
Mine too.
Philly. And so like was summer vacation. It wasn't until we were like in like older that every like 3-4 years my parents could afford to take us to the Outer Banks. And the Outer Banks doesn't have a boardwalk. It doesn't have anything. Like you go to the beach every day and you come back to your rent house. And the rent houses were awesome.
Yeah.
But it was a splurge for my parents to be able to do that. And now I'm like, because I don't have those memories as a kid of having to be able to go like experience all this stuff with my parents, I will take my kids and go do every museum I can find, every event I can find. Like I want to make those lasting memories with them. And it's different in Will. Well, Will works all the time, so like he often doesn't get to come. So sometimes it's also a mental battle with me. Like I'm tired of making memories by myself with the kids.
Yeah.
But when he's there, he's so present. But he does have those memories because like his dad traveled for work.
And you guys are pretty much the same age?
Yes. And so his dad like got moved for work. Like not military, but did get moved for work. He was an executive, got moved for work. So like Will lived in Ireland. His parents lived in England.
That's cool.
Like so he has all of these like worldly experiences that like when we got married, I was like, well, he was at a point where in his career where he was like, I might switch jobs. And I really wanted him to go do foreign service because for the first 3 years, it sucks. You go to all the really shitty places. But then after that, like you could go live in Germany. You could go. And to me, that was so exciting. And
Yeah.
for him, it was traumatizing because he was picking up and moving all the time. So he did not want that.
He
He's
wanted to plant.
I want to plant. And I'm like, well, I've been planted in my same house since I was 1. And my mom didn't sell that house until my dad died. So I'm like, literally, that's the only house I ever knew. The only neighborhood I ever knew. That was my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I've missed out on so much. So like for me, I want my kids to experience things. Like I want my kids to have lots of memories with me and like have pictures, you know, where you see it all the time where it's like, take the damn picture. Like I want my kids to have the damn picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot. Like I don't have a lot of photos like with my mom. My mom, 1, didn't like to take pictures.
Yep.
But 2, I just don't have them.
Yeah.
You know, it's a weird thing. Like I can't remember a vacation we ever went on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless to say that when my mom died, I was 15. So like I was still young, but we never went on vacation. Like I'm sitting here thinking like, where did we go? I went and saw my grandparents in Arkansas. That was cool. I never did anything. And I think that's why I try to do a lot with my kids also. We take them places. And as you're sitting here saying this about Will and wanting to go foreign, like whatever, I'm like, oh my God, that's why I married my first husband. Because I got out of the state of Kansas. Mm-hmm. He didn't live there. He lived in North Carolina.
You want to bail.
I moved. And then I was like a gypsy.
Yep.
Because
you want to absorb every
I wanted to
experience.
absorb it. So when we got divorced, I moved to Tennessee instead of moving back. And then I moved to Michigan. And then I moved to Oklahoma. And now I'm here. And all of that within a span of just like, whoop, a few years.
Yeah, but you want to absorb every
I wanted to do it all.
Experience life.
And he had the opportunity to go to Germany. And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Good thing that didn't happen because we divorced during that time frame. So yeah, I would have been stuck in Germany. But
but
That's
still,
funny.
like that.
Yeah.
Like that to me, and
it makes sense.
that to me, yes, and that to me, and it's not like I never wanted for anything when I was a kid. I didn't know that I was missing out. But like as a parent, I want my kid to. I can turn around and be like, I want my kids to experience so much. There's so much awesome stuff in not only in the United States, but like in this world that I want my kids to know and to see. And I refuse. So like, if it is, sounds really shitty, but sometimes do I make the minimum payment and then on the credit card, and then take that, whatever that $1,000 I budgeted for just to go towards principal, and take my kids to go to Dallas for the weekend and go to the museum and aquarium.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my kids to Dallas
all
for the
day
weekend.
long, because that minimum balance is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, it's always going to be there.
And it's not every month, but
something
it's
else could be there where you pay
Right.
something, you pay more another
Yes.
time, but you get to use that money to make the memories. And
Yes.
at the end of the day, that's what it's worth it. And I think that our generation, this generation, does it more.
And I think that's what it says. It says that we want the memories and not the stuff.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
don't want the stuff. Like, I will live in a cardboard box.
Yes, 100%.
If I had the freedom and to do whatever I wanted with my kids
Yeah.
all the time, and to give them such amazing education, because I like that. Part of the reason I wanted to live overseas is because a lot of the embassy schools are vastly better than the United States schools.
Why do you think a lot of like super rich people send their kids to private schools overseas?
They do,
Because the
they're so much
education is
better.
so much better.
I mean, our education system is horrible, and that's a whole nother thing. But I think that that's so interesting, and like I think the millennials that are younger than us have no desire for that, none. Like, it's not that they want to go. Like, sure, there are the travel vlogger,
Right.
whatevers, but for the most part, they just want to have a house that's bought for them, not have a schedule, and be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want it, with endless funds.
Yes.
And I'm like, cool, me too, but like, you have to work for that, and they have zero desire to work for it. Zero.
Well, and I feel like the difference, like, if you ever heard the story about, like, probably your parents may have been in this, and I feel like it's actually partly probably upper Gen X, older Gen X, I guess, where they would stay at the same job for 50 years.
Yes.
And they, like, have you ever heard the story about the guy that got the Rolex finally when he was
Yes.
got to his 50th
Yes.
year? And then when he died, his wife had to sell the Rolex to
Yes.
marry him.
Yeah.
Because he
Because
was,
there's no money.
because he was so focused on
You have to
making the job this long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we were taught when we went to college. It was like,
Yes.
you have to get the job, and then you don't job hop. And now it's like, no, you should job hop.
Right. And now it's very normal for, like, I remember when I first started becoming an adult, it wasn't okay to job
Right.
hop.
Right.
And now it's like, I'll get an application sometimes, and people have had 14 jobs in the last 2 years.
Holy bananas.
Can you imagine tax time?
But like,
Holy smokes.
but like, they're just job hopping because they know that someone else might pay them more, and the grass is greener, and the grass,
Grass
is
is
greener,
greener,
and the
yes.
grass is greener. And it's like, COVID did a lot of good things in the fact that, like, it made businesses reevaluate work-life balance. And
Yeah.
so, like, people are like, oh, you're only going to give me a week of vacation and a week of sick. Cool. This person's going to give me 3 weeks of vacation and is going to give me 2 weeks sick.
And I get to work from home
And I get to
4
work
days a week.
Correct. So it's like,
Yes.
why? Why would
Yeah.
you stay in that box office for,
No.
Monday
your-
through Friday?
Who would you say is your favorite? What
Favorite?
generation to work with professionally? I feel like they all have their positives.
I love first time home buyers, so
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go like the smart millennials.
So the older millennials.
Yeah.
I would say, like,
Because they're the more first time home buyers right now than the next gen because they're not buying.
yeah, I would say probably people my age, like around my age, but I love working with boomers. I love
They're sweet.
they can be, but I really love a crotchety old man.
We
I
know.
really
It's a
love
challenge.
I love a crotchety old man, and they tell me that they're crotchety, and I'm like, cool, I love crotchety old men. Like,
I
will
did
make
gain a
you-
lover of
I
one.
will make I will make you love me, and it's because they don't have trust. They have been burned.
You have
they
to
don't
gain
trust,
it.
but you have to gain it, and once you gain it, they're lifers.
Yes.
And they will talk. They will
Tell
make
everyone.
you feel like you are $1 million, and like I've had some down days, and then like I've gone to work with like Dennis,
Yes.
and Dennis is just like the sweetest man, and he was a crotchety old man,
Yep.
and he was just, now he's just like, they are just the nicest, sweetest.
I have a boomer client like that. So I send out a newsletter, monthly. Thanks to Cate making me do this. Yay. Love it. But he replies every month. And the first month he replied, "Hey, I know that you do this just for marketing and I'm not buying again, but I love this. Thanks so much for keeping me updated on your life."
Yes. They are more appreciative.
His kids just bought from me.
Yep. And they'll send everybody they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody they know.
I'm like, "Thank you. Like, that's so great."
And I feel like the older X and the boomers,
Yeah.
they're
yeah,
all.
I would say that. I would say X too, but I get a lot of boomers because there's a lot of veterans, and so because I work with so many veterans,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can appreciate what they went through. You know,
Yes.
like
Because I feel like the younger, they're number one, they're not loyal either.
No,
like,
they bounce
no.
around.
Like they will literally go look at 42 houses with you, and I'll have done 52 scenarios and worked my butt off for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you've worked your butt off for 6 months. And at the very end, they'll find their dream house. No matter if I've helped them clean their credit up, done phone calls for them, sat on the hold with them with Experian for 2 hours, and no matter. It does not matter. They out.
yeah. Well, and the other thing
Is it
is
shinier over here?
they are unable to professionally tell you I've gone another direction.
Yeah.
They just ghost you.
Yes.
And I think
Like
it's a
to the point
commitment
where they
fear.
might like block your number because
Yeah.
they're like, I just don't want to have like they're
Not
so-
confronting anything.
Yeah, I'm
So
so afraid.
with that generation and the people that are like that, I start all of our relationships with, not going to make you sign anything. You don't like me, cool. I probably don't like you. Just let me know. If that time comes, you won't hurt my feelings, but I don't want to waste my time trying to call you and you not answer.
Yeah, I tell people that
Yeah.
All
all
the time. I'm not
When-
afraid to say that anymore, and if it hurts my business, you're not for my business. Like,
Yes.
I have come to that realization that, like, and then most of the time they're like, oh, I'm staying with you. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or you educate them on, like, hey, that's not how you do that. And they're like, I did not know that you're not supposed to use the agent that's on the sign in the yard. I was just calling everybody.
People don't know that. That's true.
And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not going to show you this house if you already have a realtor that you're working with. But let me know if you have any questions or your realtor, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for educating me today. Anytime.
Well, and I when I have them sign a buyer's rep, like I go over termination first, and I'm like, look, I'm having you sign this because it keeps your information confidential. Otherwise, I work for the seller. So if you want to put an offer on the house, we don't have this signed. I'm required to tell them, hey, you know what? We're gonna lowball you at $200,000, but they're approved for $350,000. So like they have the money to bring the money to the table, but they don't want to. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to you. I want to protect all your information. I want to keep you. I want this relationship to flourish. But in the event that you don't want to work with me, cool. Text message, write me an email. I don't care. You don't have. Just put it in writing that you don't want to work with me because that's all it takes to terminate this buyer's rep, and this is all that it takes to terminate this listing agreement is for you to put it in a text message to me. Do I want to have a conversation with you about like, hey, what didn't work? Give me
Right.
some criticism. Like, could I have done something better for you? Absolutely. Like, I would love to have the conversation, but if you're not comfortable, that's also okay too.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to hound you and beg you to be my client because the relationship at that point is just, it's just
It is.
soiled. Like,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
no bringing it back from that.
Yes.
So, you know, but let me at least say, like, I will also happily give you realtors that I trust that might work with you, and you're more than welcome to interview them. And I
Yeah.
tell people you should interview 3.
Always.
Always.
Yes. Well, I do. I think that's why I do better with the older, because the younger,
They got their shit together.
the younger millennials also, like, they're not loyal. They're not upfront and honest. So, like, in my world, when you're doing a mortgage loan, if you tell me, hey, I had a divorce 2 years ago and this house went with him and I had to do this and I have to, like, tell me those things. That way I can have it all mapped out and ready for you to go. But if you don't tell me that you were married and there was another house and it maybe went under foreclosure and it's really in his name, then I get deep into it and then I'm like, then I got to dig it out. Like the age gap has a lot to do with. I feel like the X and the boomers are going to be lay it all out for you.
Yeah.
This is where I've had credit issues. I had money, but I did this. Like all the things,
Yeah.
they're gonna lay it out.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see the trends for alpha.
I'm ready for it.
I think they are going to start bouncing back to be more like older millennials than they are the younger millennials and whatnot. I think that they are going to be more savvy.
It should be interesting because Alpha is born in 2013.
So like their trends aren't complete. Like they're still emerging. They're still learning about them.
So they're legal to buy a house in what? 5 more years?
Yeah, because they're 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Josh is technically an alpha. Because he was
Yeah.
born in 14.
Yeah, Brody was born in 2011.
It'll be really interesting to see what their what their trends are like and what they are as like far as work goes, because I can see a lot of them returning to offices and stuff and becoming the next next generation of executive.
I like it.
Yeah, interesting. Well, that was fun to dive into that and see how we're all different. Thanks for joining us, and
Tell us what generation you are, and do you feel like you fit into the norms of that generation?
If not, you fit in here.
Yeah.
yes, you do.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. This has been Real Estate Misfit Moms. Don't forget to follow us on socials at Real Estate Misfit Moms and bookmark our podcast so you never miss an episode. Remember, miss, you fit in here.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.